You are now listening to The Project. Where we stop at nothing to bring you the right facts on health, fitness, and psychology. Featuring some of the world's most experienced professionals so you can learn, lift, and live. With your hosts, Meg, Dr. D, and Mehdi.
This is going to affect a lot of people's anxiety. People are already anxious. I'm opposite of you guys. I say don't Google. Don't watch too much news.
They will use things, I think what's being used right now, right? This whole narrative of for your health and for your safety. It's a way to manipulate, to find out who is compliant and who is, willing to kind of go along with the flow. They create a big problem and then the government has an answer for it, right?
Maybe that's why we have COVID-19 this year. And you know what? A lot of the conspiracy theorists say it's a cover-up for something that's a lot bigger. Who remembers the year 2000? Remember, turn back your clocks and your computers are going to crash and all? All right, well, you know what my prediction is?
All this and more in today's episode.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of The Project. I'm very excited. 2021 is around the corner. We're going to say fuck you to 2020. All right? Right? I think everybody's happy about that one. And Meg, I know how much you like my singing, and I prepared a little song for you tonight. Are you ready?
I would love to hear it. I'm so ready.
Are you sure about this? This could get us all thrown in jail across the world. This is a song about Corona, man. That shit was made by a man named Uncle Sam. He's going to inoculate us all up the ass. Yeah, that was the song right there. I had to bust that out. There's more to it, but that was my shower song for the past week.
There's a lot more to that story for sure.
I know, right? And just so everybody knows, I got to give a shout out to Brian Campbell. He had the best post I've seen of 2020 where he said, Meg, you saw that post, right?
Oh, yeah. I reposted it. It was pretty great.
Yeah. He would rather have, Dr. D, you didn't see this.
No.
He would rather have Edward Scissorhands trim his nether regions versus taking a gooey vaccine shot.
Oh, gee.
And I was cracking up.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Talking about vaccine, it's true. I mean, even my students, they're all like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't want to take it. And I'm going to wait for a year before I take my vaccine. And everybody's so doubtful about, did they give it enough time? Do they have enough trial? Because oftentimes, vaccination takes a while, for all the testing and retrials and then to have it be effective. So are you guys going to take the vaccination?
Meg's anti-vaccine, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm taking that vaccine.
See,
there's no way in hell.
I don't take vaccination either.
Yeah, no. I have a lot of thoughts on vaccine. I don't know how deep we want to go into this, but with the COVID vaccine, I'll stay there. They rolled it out in Britain, right? And 2 medical professionals, right after, had severe anaphylaxis after the vaccine. So now the authorities are warning people that people who have allergies shouldn't get the vaccine. Well, how many people in the world have allergies?
Oh, wow. Any type of allergy?
Right. I haven't read fully through the document yet, but they had severe anaphylaxis after the vaccine. So that's concerning. Also the 90, I think Brisbane has scrapped it as well. They're not going to be pushing the vaccine out just because of all the issues with the safety trials, but also of the trial that they did, that 95% success rate that they say. Mm-hmm. So it's actually out of only 95 participants in that study. It's a very small study and none of them had underlying conditions and things like that. So they skipped a lot of portions of the trial. So I think we're the human trial, we're the experiment, and I'm not cool with that. So I will wait. I won't say I'm anti-vax. If there's one that works, yeah, I'd be open to it, but I don't think that this is it.
Well, I know the Ministry of Health here is asking people to register. So
people here will inject anything. You just got to go to Oxygen Gym, man. People here will inject anything. Realistically. But look, from my perspective, I think the vaccine was created and done along with the virus 5 years ago. So I think all that shit was already planted in place.
Look at you little conspiracy theorist. I'm so proud of you.
Look, I honestly, I stay anti-conspiracy, anti-political, all that shit for a reason.
Yeah.
But in reality, I truly think that whatever's out there could be safe. Will I take it right away? No, I'm not going to be the first one in line.
No.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Try it on the first 150, 200,000 people, like what they did with polio in the 1950s, I think, or the 1940s, before they actually rolled it out. I think it was polio. I'm not 100% sure. Listeners, don't kill me on this. But they rolled it out, and they gave it to 20,000 people, and I think out of the 20,000, 2,000 kids got severely sick. I think 150 died, 200, were paralyzed, and some crazy shit happened. They pulled it back off. And that happened in a short time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wait 6 to 7 months and you let all the people that are like, I don't know, the yuppies that are all like standing in lines to take the vaccines and the ones who are like all, crazy about it, let them take it first. Let them be the guinea pigs. And, just like for me, I told my mother, I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I have a cousin who's a doctor. He said, I'm waiting at least 6 or 7 months. Let people get vaccinated first and, let them be the guinea pigs. I want to wait it out. And if it comes out and it's 100% safe, I will take it. I will let my son take it.
Yeah.
But if not, and the government's saying, hey, if you want your kid to go to school, he has to take this vaccine, that's where I'm going to have a serious problem.
I would too.
And I'll be like, look, yeah, dude, inject me before you inject my child. Inject the adults. Like, don't inject my kid because they haven't tried it on kids. There's a 16-year-old, the age limit is 16 for trials, human trials.
Yeah.
So if the age limit is 16, we do not know how this will affect younger kids.
Right.
And that's where my problem comes in because third world countries like Kuwait and the Middle East, they're going to say, all right, all kids have to get injected. They're going to go overboard like everything around here. And, I don't want my kid being a test subject.
Yeah.
It's not, even if it is 100% safe, we still don't know with children. So, I'm on the fence, maybe 6, 7 months, maybe a year. But then in 10 years, if we start...
I'd give it longer, dude. I'd give it longer.
Dude, I'll give it 6 or 7 months if, 2 million people are injected and out of the 2 million, you get like a 0.5% that show serious side effects or something, then for the most part, it's safe. I mean, all vaccines.
Those are the same odds with COVID anyway. You have a 99.7% of survival for our age group anyway. You have like a 0.03 chance of dying from it.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with that one, dude. Yeah. Like, I don't want to get sick.
Look into it. Look into it.
Yeah, but Meg, look into all the athletes right now that are coming down with this heart condition that no one's figured out. Eduardo Rodriguez from the Boston Red Sox, he had COVID, and he still isn't cleared to go to the gym because he has an enlarged heart because of COVID.
No, actually, I have another friend that had the same thing, had COVID. I mean, he's my age, so he's much, we're much older than you guys, but the idea is the same thing. He had COVID, he was hospitalized, and now he's having a problem with his heart so I think that the idea is that, so even if he is, I mean, I feel like it's maybe it is affecting younger people, and it's not as much as we thought that it's not gonna. Well, what about that other young doctor they had an interview with him the other day where he was a doctor and he was 34. I mean, he is 34. And he's saying it's taken him a while.
But forget that. I ain't messing around with biochemical warfare. I'm not messing around with biochemical warfare.
Yeah.
I don't care, dude. Like, I don't want to get that shit. I think I had it in February, and I swear to God, I'm pretty sure I had it. And if I can get the test to find out, because I'm dying to know, I still don't have my lungs back.
Yeah.
But my lung capacity is nowhere near where it was last January. And I felt it real bad in April and, workouts and the CrossFit, you feel it. And one of my buddies who's a CrossFitter, he got it. He called me. He's like, I heard you said that you had it a couple times on the show or you think you had it. How's the recovery? And I said, dude, honestly, I remember from March to May, I felt like I just had something on my chest. And it took a while for that to go. Even till today, there are times where I can't gasp a full breath. And it's getting better. It's definitely getting better. But I'm pretty sure it was COVID.
And actually, a lot of people are reporting the same thing, is that they're taking them a while for them to feel the same again with their breathing and their energy. Energy is another thing. I had several students that did have it actually. At least, they're 22?
I had it in March.
And they're like, they're saying the same thing. It's taking them a while.
Yeah, but you didn't have it that bad, though.
Yeah, for 8 days. I lost my taste. So I had 8 out of the 10 symptoms of it.
Oh, really?
Did you get tested?
Yeah.
But you bounce back fine, though, right? I mean, and you're female, dude. It was a woman that created it, okay? A woman created COVID-19. It was a woman that created fucking COVID, all right, to kill off all the men so you guys could have world domination.
Right? Oh, my God. You're so much into conspiracy theories today. Wow.
I'll go with that.
I've been watching Netflix way too much, dude. All right.
No, our entire town was hit really, really hard. It's a tourist destination in March, and we were hit really, really hard. So I know almost everybody here that's had it. And I know a lot of people that have full recoveries. I know people in their 80s that have had full recoveries. Some that still have like the taste and the smell. It takes a while to come back. But I think it's like the biggest concerning thing for me is like the whole narrative around it, right? Is like they don't tell you how to be healthy. It's put a mask on, stay away from people, and they try to trick you into thinking that that's your immune system, but they're not telling you what zinc and vitamin C and vitamin D and all these things can do for your immunity and how to actually help yourself recover and fight from it. With food and nutrition, like why would McDonald's and liquor stores be able to stay open, but gyms have to close? What sense does that make? Right.
Well,
these are the things to question.
But I have to say, gyms, all right, and I've gone to gyms, and I've recently been going to gyms and, not working out, but doing some classes here and there. And I follow the rules. I wear a mask. I do social distancing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But these gyms, they don't follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
There was no social distancing.
I'm sure.
They don't follow any of the rules. And I can imagine in the United States, it might be different. In Europe, it might be different. But here, like some gyms are following with the boxes and everything, but other gyms, there's no social distancing whatsoever. And it's ridiculous.
I was laughing because just like last week, I was going to the salon where I usually go, and there's a gym right across the street. I won't say a name. And Lars is with me, right? So I can't find parking. So I have to use their parking in a way. Everyone uses their parking. And Lars, my daughter's like, Mom, this place is so packed. How are they doing social distancing? This is a 10-year-old. She could tell from the number of the cars, the number of the guys that were going into this gym. She's wondering, how can they be really adhering to these guidelines? It's like, it looks crowded to me, Mom. So I don't know what's happening. I'm like, I don't know. I hope they're wearing masks at least. But they are, you're right. I mean, it's crowded. You could tell like it's crowded. I'm sure that a lot of people feel uncomfortable working out with their mask on. And, and it's like the biggest spreader isn't it the gym that they're saying that it's the biggest spreader because no one's cleaning? I always like the idea in the US, like the gym, you're supposed to clean after yourself. You just sanitize things. Here, I don't know. Do they do that? I don't go to the gym.
Dr. D, you want me to get Meg going real fast? Like I'll set Meg on fire right now. So recently, a few weeks ago, we had the Kuwaiti elections, and we had 32 newly elected officials,
60%,
who were all in the same room taking pictures, and only one guy was wearing a fucking mask.
Yep.
That was it. One guy was wearing a mask out of the 32 officials that we have that were newly elected when they were all supposed to be wearing masks and social distancing, and none of them were. And Meg, you have a couple of governors over in the United States who are supposed to be socially distancing. I think they were
a couple. Fuck all of them. They are. COVID doesn't affect government officials. Didn't you know that? It's a very smart virus. It doesn't come out after 10 p.m. That's why you have to lock down at 10 p.m.
Hey, Rudy Giuliani said he got special treatment.
He did because he's famous.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Really?
Who
says
it doesn't get you if you're standing up, right? You can walk into a restaurant standing up. It doesn't get you, but when you sit down, you're okay. So you can take your mask off. It's ridiculous. But yeah, the Texas, there was a mayor or governor, I forget who he was, but he was on vacation in Mexico and told everybody that they need to stay at home, that they can't leave.
Yeah.
You've got, California, the worst, where he's out to eat in restaurants, no mask, no distancing, but not letting people even go out and ride their bikes or go for walks. They arrested a woman who was out in the middle of the ocean on her paddleboard for being outside.
Oh my God, really?
And he can go out to a dinner with 12 people indoors, no problem whatsoever.
Birthday party. There was another official.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she was a senator.
Going,
I don't know, mayor.
Nancy Pelosi,
party.
all of them. Yeah. They go get their hair done. They go travel, but they tell everybody else what they have to do. So it's, and none of these people, here's the other thing too, is like none of these people have missed a paycheck during this entire time. Right. But they're telling people to stay home, businesses to shut down, and they're not offering any assistance. At least you have other countries that pay anywhere from 75% to, 100% of at least staffing costs, paying salaries for their employees and things. And US is offering absolutely no assistance. It's crushing small businesses and killing them. It's, but the people making these rules, right, are, they haven't missed a single paycheck. It's rules for thee and not for me. That's how it goes.
So do you believe in the New World Order, Meg?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Right, I want to hear this. Okay.
I do.
I never dive down the fucking rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and politics and all that bullshit. So Meg, give me the version of the New World Order. Dr. D, are you cool with the New World Order?
I'll wait for Meg. I'm not like you guy, I just go ahead, Meg.
Yeah. New World Order, my understanding, it's like a new installation of government. Basically, it's a one world government of what the agenda and the goal is. They will use things, I think what's being used right now, right? This whole narrative of for your health and for your safety. It's a way to manipulate, to find out who is compliant and who is, willing to kind of go along with the flow. They created a big problem. This is how the New World Order works, right? They create a big problem and then the government has an answer for it, right? So if you look at what's happening, like they've created this big problem with COVID. Okay. And the government, what are they going to do? We'll give you unemployment checks. So a lot of people actually on unemployment right now, they're making more money on unemployment than they did at their actual job. So now tell me, where's the incentive for somebody to actually go back to work? Right. So it starts with these things of like, we're going to, take care of this. And all these, talks of like healthcare and all these things that they're going to help provide to people, right? It gets you dependent on the government. And then what happens? I mean, Kuwait's a great example. Like what happened with healthcare? What happened with schooling, right? Why do people go to private healthcare and why do people go to private schooling?
100%.
Because when the government's in control of it, it turns to absolute shit.
I wouldn't say government though. I would go in big business people. I mean, I would especially say in our case, right? It's the big business
who's
people.
Thriving right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, big tech and big business. Yeah, who's thriving right now? You look at the wealth what's happening is a transfer of wealth, right? Crush all the small businesses, right? Get people dependent on the government, and now we can create this one world government and control the people, and they continue to get richer.
Well, I want to dive down with you a little bit, and I want to say the reason why gyms are getting crushed so badly in all this shit is because fucking healthy people aren't reliant on big pharma and the healthcare system. And the more healthy people you have walking around, they don't need all these medicines. They don't need freaking, what's that the big one for cholesterol? What's that shit called?
Statins.
Statins, yes. And we were talking, and he was like, yeah, the United States, they upped the cholesterol limit for people now. And I was like, yeah, no shit, because you need cholesterol, especially as a man.
Right.
They've correlated higher testosterone levels with higher cholesterol. So back to what Meg was saying, if you have a bunch of healthy people walking around that go to the gym or work out or, are staying healthy and taking care of themselves, Big Pharma loses the most because
you can't profit off of healthy people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They want repeat customers. That's why they get you sick with the food quality, the air quality, all that. And they create repeat customers. Why do you think obesity and that's the other thing too, is like people are actually becoming more conscious of how they're eating and how they're moving, right? Fitness has taken off and has improved compared to maybe like 30 years ago, but people are still getting sicker.
But don't you think that if they've created this COVID-19 as a big problem, so that way we could be dependent on the government, well then, don't you think that this has made people more conscious about how to, improve their immune system? There's a lot of people taking
nobody's talking
vitamins,
about that.
But I think it doesn't matter if they're not talking about it. I do feel like a lot more people are worried about their immune system. I mean, younger people, they are working out.
But the majority have gained weight throughout the lockdowns.
Depression,
anxiety.
But the depression, anxiety is because of the lockdown, and depression, anxiety is because, we're here, at least we're a collectivist society, and we feel like we've been isolated by, family and friends and whatever.
It's another way to control people is isolate them and instill fear.
Maybe I'm not into these conspiracy theory. The idea is that if there is a pandemic, we have to be able to take care of our people. I mean, there's no other choice. So if we let them all loose and go out there and then they all get sick, and then it will be the problem of the government because the government didn't do enough to protect us. And then when we try to apply rules and say, look, why don't you just social distance, wear a mask? It's not a lot to social distance and wear a mask. With you guys, they even saying you can have a gathering of like 10 people or do your bubble. And they're like, oh, this is the government controlling us. And what's the answer then? To me, I feel one of the things that they did here and the way that the government or the Ministry of Health really implemented rules, regardless people liked it or didn't like it, they followed. And I felt like that helped us out a lot. And now people can be back to work instead of having a second wave where we have to stay home again.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Look, I think it's biochemical. I want to make it very clear that I believe that this is biochemical because it attacks everybody differently.
Yeah.
And in the United States, they're finding people losing their hearing, their eyesight. What the hell? Have you ever seen a virus that it's got to be biochemical and attack certain genotypes?
But how do you know it's the virus, or is it because they already had a pre-existing?
That's true. That could be a good point. And the virus might have bumped it up.
Right. I think it's the same thing as, you have a little anxiety and then you take some medication and you have side effects of the medication that can make you depressed.
Have you seen Gattaca?
I haven't, no.
Meg, have you seen Gattaca?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, you guys haven't seen Gattaca? Holy shit.
No.
That's like the greatest movie.
We have a life, Mehdi. We don't have time to watch TV.
Oh my, I have a life too. I saw it years ago, all right?
Gattaca. Oh, with Ethan Hawke?
I think so, yeah. I don't know actors, but basically everyone was genetically modified and genetically created to be like the perfect specimen.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, so he had to pretend that he was, and he stole someone's DNA and whatever. And I think whatever this biochemical, whatever it is they released, it attacks certain genomes in different people's bodies, and I'm diving deep into my conspiracy here, and I never really talked about this.
I see.
So I think it goes deep into people's genomes, and it really does kind of attack those people that have like sleeping genes that, I don't know. I mean, that's just my theory, because the way some people are getting sick and some of the things that I'm reading, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And, my cousin's a doctor at Mubarak Hospital, a hospital here in Kuwait. And, he said like our ICU is pretty much full. Our hospital beds are full. He was like, some people.
And see, I think that's unfair. I mean, it's unfair. Meg, I understand that you're saying that the government is controlling us and they're giving us all these rules. But then if you could get sick, don't go to the hospital and bombard all these healthcare providers because you need an ICU bed or you need to be taken care of because you didn't protect yourself. And now, the doctors and the nurses have to take care of you because you have COVID-19. Like, I don't think it's fair.
So
because I have a lot of people. To me, I have a lot of my friends are doctors and they're overwhelmed, and they were overwhelmed through that 7 months while we sit at home. People sit at home because they were quarantined and the doctors were working. No one got a break. I feel like it's a continuing of this year. So yes, I can't wait till this year is over, but it's not fair. Like, I feel like it's not fair. You follow rules. Don't go, okay, you don't want to follow rules. Then why should I as a doctor have to take care of you? I want to understand that. You didn't follow rules. Mm-hmm. You feel like you don't want to be controlled by the government. You want to do what you want to do. Stay home. Don't come to the hospital.
Well, here's what's interesting about a couple of things that you mentioned. So there's a study that came out by the CDC recently, and 70% of the people that were coming in or having issues with COVID and seeking treatment, 70% of those people were wearing their masks regularly. So there's very little proof that the people not wearing the masks are the ones that are actually like spreading it and causing the spikes. So that's one thing. But also for hospitals, I'll speak to my state specifically. I don't know what's happening in Kuwait, but in my state specifically, there's a couple of different risk models that they use to judge that capacity. So capacity, like I don't doubt that hospitals are overwhelmed. I talked to hospital officials throughout the state, and they are. But what they're seeing is typical peak flu season, people coming in. They're also seeing a lot of people that have put off coming to the hospital for so long for routine things and things that they needed to have done because they were so scared of COVID to come in. So now those people have waited till the last minute and now they're being admitted for extra things. You have elective surgeries. We also have a for-profit healthcare system that runs in the United States. So most hospitals are always running at high capacity or near capacity. ICUs are almost always full. So some of the people that are freaking out, a lot of them are newer onto the job. Maybe they haven't experienced this quite yet, but also they're having, I don't doubt that they're overwhelmed, that they have people coming in panicking and freaking out like, oh my God, I have shortness of breath. I think I have COVID, when really it could just be an anxiety attack, and all these other things that are going on. But how our risk model is actually calculated is there's a couple of ways that they're doing it. So some hospitals have allocated a certain number of beds for COVID patients. So it's not total beds available in the hospital. So my hospital in particular has allocated 7 beds for COVID. Okay. So if I have 3 people in there, now we're in the orange level, the high risk, right? Moderate capacity. It's looking like hospitals are overwhelmed, but that's 3 of the 7 beds that are actually occupied for COVID because they've only allocated 7 beds for COVID. Other hospitals are basing it off of staffing capacity. So it's not off of actual beds available. It's off of staffing. Well, why is staffing low? You have a lot of moms that have kids to take care of because they can't go to school and they can't go to daycare. So they've got people that are on leave. They've had to furlough people, right? So your capacity is low for those reasons as well. So people need to look into what the risk model is that they're using in their area and what they're basing it off of. It's not the same everywhere. And I'm not going to say that's a generalized view of what's happening all over. I know specifically that that's what's happening in my state, and that's not the full picture. And it's instilling a lot of fear in people that the hospitals are overwhelmed. And I have people at the hospitals saying, it's typical flu season. We're not overwhelmed. We only have 7 beds allocated.
But all these doctors that come out on TV, they're not saying that.
Forget about the doctors on TV. I'm talking personal experience of doctors and nurses that I know in Kuwait and the United States and in Europe.
Me too.
And the ones I know in Kuwait, our numbers are pretty low right now, and hopefully they'll stay low. And they said they're still full in the hospitals. He was like, yeah, we're full. He was like, we're at full capacity, definitely. All of our beds are being devoted to COVID-19. Jobber Hospital was full. Yeah. This was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. A bunch of other hospitals. And in Massachusetts, in Worcester, Mass, they're popping up field hospitals. And I have a friend who works in Mass General. And she told me, she was like, look, people think this is a joke, but it's not. this is attacking the elderly the most, and this is attacking people that are, 40 plus, and we are absolutely overwhelmed with the amount of people who are sick. And this is like actual, she's on the ground there. Like, you get mixed reviews, and I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say they're wrong, but you get mixed reviews. And my personal opinion is I will not take the risk. I go out, I double mask. If I'm going to a crowded place, I'm wearing 2 masks. I got my sanitizer, everything. I don't want to get sick. I don't want my kid getting sick. And if this is biological and biochemical, I definitely don't want this shit. And it's not worth it. It's not worth giving it to my mother.
I know, but if wearing a mask is not going to protect you, why are you doubling up?
I'm going to do it anyways. I don't care. I'll take every precaution.
See?
But I'll take every precaution. It's like Meg said with the zinc. I take echinacea
Exactly.
right now.
That's what
I
I
take
mean.
zinc. I take all that.
No, I mean, too. I take my vitamins. I take my zinc. I take my vitamin C. I make everybody at home take it. I do whatever I can, but I'm not going to go out and not wear a mask or go protest and say, well, the government can't tell me what to do. I mean, obviously in the US, they can. We can, like, here, well, the government can't tell me what to do. And then suddenly you're like, you have all these symptoms. If it's COVID, if it's flu, if it's whatever, then you have to be a, burden on the healthcare system and the healthcare providers. I don't know, maybe because, like I said, I see it differently. I feel like if you don't want to go into the hospital, then take care of yourself. Why protest and say, I don't want to do this?
That's the point right there. That's the key right there. If you don't want to go to the hospital, just take care of yourself.
Just take care of yourself.
I think we can all agree, just take care of yourself. That's the most important thing. And if you're living a healthy lifestyle.
I think also there's health freedom in that. And I think people get to choose what is that, right? Like, people can choose to go to a chiropractor or a physical therapist or an acupuncturist, or, right? We can choose all these different modalities that we want to do for our health. So I think the same applies here, that let people take care of their health the way that they see fit. If you're that afraid of it, then I think the same thing goes for, businesses as well. I think they slapping this horizontal one size fits all rule on businesses when there's different risk levels involved at different types of businesses, I don't think is right. I think they need to let the business owners take responsibility and say, we know the risks. Here's what we're putting in place because, we believe this is what's going to help our clients, our business, and whatever. And people will go where they feel safe. I think people are going to go and, spend their money where they feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, or if you're sick, then you stay at home and you take care of yourself.
Yeah, everyone has the freedom.
And I think with mental health, with mental health, we say the same thing. You don't want to, beside that, especially if you're genetically, already inclined to have depression, we try to teach people to be able to work out, eat healthy, to minimize your stress level. For example, we teach people these kind of tools. So that way, if they don't want to become depressed, then they're not going to become depressed if they can take care of themselves, mental health. So it's the same thing with, you don't want to get COVID. So you need to do these certain things. It's not guaranteed, I understand, but do these certain things just so that way you're protected and you don't have to worry about getting it. That's it. We do it with any cholesterol. We do it with high blood pressure. We do it with all these medical problems. We say, if you have cholesterol, change your diet. If you're diabetic, you have to take, medication. Like, we do it. It's not, I don't know why with COVID, everyone's like, no, I'm not going. Just imagine a mask and social distancing and not having big parties. Just imagine these are the medication that they're giving you for COVID. Just the same as, like, I say you should take these medication for depression. I don't see a difference. To me, I think
we all kind of agree on one point, that just take care of yourself, eat right, sleep right, all that stuff. And, you have nothing to worry about at the end of the day, if you take the right precautions in your everyday life.
Yeah. I think it's been politicized. And I think that the whole, part of it creating this confusion, right? There's different studies. You hear different doctors. You got doctors on one side, doctors on the other side. People get into, mainstream media definitely has one narrative that they want to get into. And even in mainstream media, you can pick which ideology, service you want to go to and get in your echo chamber and, get in the habit. I think they want to create mass confusion and not understanding what this is. And there's studies coming out all over. And the fact that there's stuff being censored along with it, that is concerning to me. And so I think just, to your point, Maddie, I think research, don't be afraid to look at other sides, but most importantly, look at how to be healthy. That's something that you can't depend on anybody else for. That is your responsibility. And I'll echo vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. Those are the things that they have found to be the most effective in a lot of the treatments and people recovering. So make sure you're up on that, whether you're getting it through your food or you have to supplement with it.
And again, everybody, don't think if you pop a vitamin C pill, you'll be okay. No, do everything else. It's like, do everything. Like, you can't just expect to do one thing and not do the other things, like sleep, movement, exercise, nutrition. It's like someone told me, oh, if I do the sauna, I'm going to lose weight. I was like, no, dude, you got to do a lot of other things. You can't just do one thing. all the other shit isn't in place.
Yeah, but people they just want to think, like you were saying, that this person's saying to you, I want to lose weight.
There's no magic pill, though. There's no magic pill.
No, but I don't even here, here mainly I've seen it, where people like in a hurry, right? Well, what can I do? So they have to take a shot of vitamin C. Like, it's like, okay, well, there's a lot of other things. The same thing with depression. Let me just take a medication. And that's it. They don't want to talk about the problem. They don't want to know how they got where they got. Like you were saying with that guy, like, he wants to get these apps. Well, he doesn't want to work out.
Yeah, it's the magic. Yeah. It's like my mother. My mother goes, oh, I'm taking black seed powder or black seed oil every day. And, it's supposed to make you really healthy and live longer. I'm like, you want to do that? You just move more. You just do all the other things that no one wants to do. You just do those, incorporate these little things into your life, and things will get better for you. And I think that's a great segue into 2021, everybody. And we should go with predictions. All right. I think this is going to be a fun one. Let's go first.
Well, it's funny. Everybody's like, 2020 has been a rough year. And everybody's like, oh, I just can't wait for this year to be over and to be 2021. My prediction is that not shit is going to change. You're going to be dealing with this stuff in 2021. We're in,
exactly.
There's a lot, like, there's no magic pill. Speaking of that happens January 1st. That says, poof, this is all gone. And everybody's in agreement and we're all unified. And
yeah, we're all fucked.
Like, whatever, like tricking yourselves with that. Like, you're going to be setting yourself up for a big disappointment in January if you think that 2021 has the magic answer. There was a meme I saw this morning, and it's like a guy like jumping up in the air, excited, like 2020 is over. And then there's a dog that's jumping and about to bite him right in the nuts. And I'm just like, that's pretty accurate. Like, I feel like that's how everybody is right now. They don't know what's coming.
That's true, because everyone's like, I can't wait till New Year's. I just want to I want to say 2021, right? I was thinking, but it's just going to be a continuing. I don't think that like COVID-19 will stop or anything else will. I think it's going to take a while. We're not going to get this vaccination. I think next year we're just used to what is happening right now. I don't think that, hopefully there's nothing new. I think we'll just become accustomed to the way of life. And let's hope that, but you're right. I think people don't have the idea like, hello, things are not going anywhere. I think we're going to get more depressed.
2021's going to be a rude awakening.
Who remembers the year 2000? Remember, like, turn back your clocks and your computers are going to crash and all. Y2K, all that shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what my prediction is? Fucking aliens, dude. All right. It's happening. I think it's going to get a hell of a lot worse in 2021. I think we're going to have some alien encounters or some crazy.
Are you serious?
I've been watching a lot of Netflix.
You have been.
Yeah, like how big space actually is and how much stuff is out there. And these weird silver things that are popping up around the globe. And, this is kind of like some of those movies I saw in the 90s. And like, I don't think shit's going to change.
They already set the stage for it by admitting that they had UFOs in labs, right? Remember Bob Lazar, who had talked all about the technology and the spaceships and things that he had seen at Area 51? And he was actually, for years, they like attacked him for speaking out about this stuff. They did terrible things to him. And finally this year he was vindicated and they said, yeah, we got some technology. I mean, they haven't come out with the full story, but they're like, yeah, we got the ships, we got the things, right? And just very covertly kind of slipped it under the rug there for some people. But
maybe that's why we have COVID-19 this year.
Maybe they're setting the stage for it, Maddie.
Yeah, dude, maybe that's why we've had COVID-19. Maybe they're, and you know what? A lot of the conspiracy theorists say it's a cover-up for something that's a lot bigger. Okay?
So
I don't you like when I do conspiracy shit? Because I stir the fucking pot. I know what I'm doing here.
No, because this is going to affect a lot of people's anxiety. People are already anxious and depressed.
I welcome these sons of bitches.
I think to set these kind of stage. I think we need to be able
it goes
for people.
It goes back to personal responsibility. They got to do some research and they find the truth of what they believe. There's a million different truths out there and people need to research and need to see what suits them.
Yeah, and I say the opposite because remember, I work with individuals that are struggling with anxiety, depression. I'm opposite of you guys. I say don't Google, don't watch too much news.
You do have to censor yourself. Yeah, you have to censor yourself.
Yeah, there's censorship, but then there's research. You got to do some research into...
No, they cannot do research. They're already having panic attack. We're very, very busy. This 2020 has overwhelmed me. And you think...
I love the psychological perspective, by the way. Me and Meg are like balls to the wall. Let's go. Dr. D's like, whoa, cool the jets, guys.
Remember, I have to look at it from a different perspective. They cannot introduce themselves to information that they don't have any control over. So what's the sense of them doing research and learning that maybe 2021 is going to be worse
With
and we're
aliens.
going to have a biochemical? I mean, I'm anxious just listening
With
to
aliens.
the two of you.
With aliens.
With alien. Do you know what's going to happen to my clients and to people that are struggling with mental illnesses? This is really, really going to make them more anxious, more panic attack, more depression, more isolation. No, I tell people that I work with, you don't need to look at that much media. You don't need to look at these research. It's not in your control. Let's just deal with it one day at a time. So I'm very different from you guys. I would never talk
like
about
that.
I don't disagree with that. I think that absolutely people need to know your limits and protect yourself. And I think that there is censoring of that. And I think that if you are prone to, like, I know when there's, a lot of the stuff coming out about, like child trafficking was a big topic this year as well, and human trafficking in general around the world. And I know, like, there's just some of that stuff I like, it's not that I don't care about it and that I don't want to help protect and understand those things, but I can get into some pretty dark places if I consume. And so you have to be very careful of who you follow, what you watch, and how often you're exposing yourself to those things. There's many nights where I did not sleep at all because I just could not get some of these stories and things out of my head. And finally, I just had to say, like, that's not my area where I go into. So I 100% agree with that if you have to, like, censor yourself. But I think there's a point also of being informed. I think that I was very uninformed on a lot of things, especially like local government. I'll speak to specifically. I didn't realize how much is really happening at those levels that is impacting what's going on right now and what control there is there and stuff. So it's like, I have to research a little bit. I have to know what's up with some of these things because I want to help protect small businesses, but that's where my passion lies. And that's where I, want to be informed with. So I think there's definitely, you have to know your boundaries and know your limits, but mainstream media, that's a death trap.
Well, I just feel
anxiety.
I feel like when you're vulnerable and you're looking for answers, and then when you start to consume yourself and you're bored, you're sitting at home, you haven't been back to work yet, and you're just like watching. I mean, I could see it happens to me. Like you'll watch one news, then to the next news, then the next YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I've never been into politics until like recently.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. And if I am the person who's supposed to be an expert in these things, I started to get addicted to this junk. I can only imagine people that I work with and the vulnerability and the fear that they're constantly living. And I don't want them to watch anything. No, it's okay. Stay in your bubble for now. Let's work on your anxiety and then we'll deal with other stuff. So I'm very, very different.
If anyone does veer out of their bubble, watch Fox and CNN, take whatever they say, throw it out the window, go to the guy down the street and just ask him what the news is. Because both those news channels, I swear to God, I love it. I turn on CNN, it's something. I turn on Fox, it's the complete opposite.
It's a clown show. It's an absolute clown show.
Then I turn on CNN, they're bashing on these guys. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not journalism. It's not news.
I never watch the news. I don't watch any news anymore. I don't read the news.
It's all opinion.
And it gets them viewers.
It's crazy.
That's what they're trying. Yeah. So they're getting money.
Dr. D, you're right. Some people get overconsumed with this stuff and it truly depresses them, changes their complete state of mind. And Meg, I like what you're saying because you do have to stay informed. And I try to. That's why when I do look at news, like I'll look at it from different sources. That's not mainstream media.
You have to.
I try to look at, some of the small and pop blogs, the small mom and pop blogs that pop up that are resourceful. They seem legitimate and there's an unbiased opinion towards whatever point of view the news is going on. And plus they have like fluffy shit too, which I like, to be honest with you.
That's what's so hard right now though, right? So it's like we get this illusion of choice, right? So there's like tons of media channels and news channels and things that you can go to, tons of websites and things that you can go to. And there's 6 companies, 6 people that control all of media, whether it's news, TV, movies, print. There's only 6 people in control. So you can look this up.
No, that's true. Yeah.
6 people in control. So they give you this illusion of choice, right? It's the same thing with our food industries, right? You all these candy bars and all these, like options for food. And it's very few actual big corporations that are in charge of this. So you get this illusion of choice, but you're really getting the same message all through it. And then the problem is with some of these blogs and things that you're talking about, Maddie, is you find information and it makes sense and it resonates with you and you feel like it's legitimate. And then you want to like share it with somebody or talk to somebody and they're like, it's not real. It's not mainstream, right? It's
like, CNN says it's not true.
But yeah, so it's so hard right now. And if things being censored and hidden, it's just a nightmare. It's hard.
My advice to people, just, read what you can. Make sure that your information comes from the right sources. I don't think you should read a lot. Go exercise, eat right, journal, dump all your all your negative thoughts in a journaling and, go on with your life. Go work if you have to work. Do something with yourself. Have a purpose. I mean, that's my thing. 2021, people need to have a purpose.
That's a good call. Yeah, that's a good one.
My purpose is not really to figure out is COVID real or not. If that's not my job. My job is if I have to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. My purpose in life, it's not really to follow what the government wants. And so I think this is my advice for people. Have a purpose.
I like that.
I want to introduce and you've probably heard of this, the urgent and important matrix. I don't know if you ever heard that. Yeah. So like the urgent and important stuff, right? And this fits in with, making New Year's resolutions and things as well, or goals, but like that urgent, important stuff, right? Like that's life. This is the stuff that you have very little control over. It's like everyone in the house gets sick at the same time, or your kid gets sick and now you can't sleep. A family member dealing with an illness and you got to spend more time visiting with them. It's Christmas, Eid, long weekend. It's, you're stressed and your back starts to hurt, right? Like this is just life stuff that we have very, very little control over. Or as you're, about to head out for your workout maybe, and then like the toilet overflows, right? Like stuff that I can't really control. And then you've got this urgent quadrant of stuff that's like interruptions that take some of our immediate attention, but it's usually to help someone else, right? So when I think of this, I think of like emails, right? Like it's urgent demand to like respond and do something, but like it's usually for someone else's gain and not specifically for mine. And then the important quadrant, I think that's the one to focus on, the one where you're talking about with like finding purpose, like that's quality, right? Like this is the stuff in your life that leads directly to like the achievement of a short or a long-term goal. Like if you did these things, like this would drastically improve the quality of your life. And then I think what we've really hit hard today is the non-urgent and not important quadrant of that, which is like distractions and time sucks, which would be like the social media, the Netflix, like all that kind of stuff.
Hey, dude, no, Netflix is the shit, all right? I like my Netflix.
Netflix is shit.
No, dude. I'm just getting back into Netflix, all right? I'm just getting back into it. Like, I'm watching an alien show right now, and I'm enjoying it.
It's a waste of time.
It's not a waste of time, but no, this is a show that talks about evolution, the evolution of, like, our species, humans, animals, insects, and what it would look like on other planets that are billions and billions of light years away. How can you say that's not a good show? That's awesome.
What's urgent, what's important, where should your attention really be going? And it's that important quadrant, that we're talking about finding that purpose. Like, what are the things that I can be directing my attention to that's going to improve my life?
And I think sometimes distractions, and that's true. And I think sometimes distractions are important because it can take our mind away and we can be in a bubble. But, Meg is right. I think we should identify, more people are spending time with the distractions than really trying to find a purpose, which is what's important for themselves. So if we can minimize the distractions, work on a purpose, I think it's good.
Look, in all honesty, like for me, my purpose is close to home. That's my kid. I think that's my main purpose. And I mean, Dr. D, you've always known me. You've known me for the past 15 years. I've always, complained about my dad, and I've always wanted to be a dad. And I felt my purpose in life was to try and be the best father that I could be. And this is so bad to say, but I'm happy COVID happened. I would never have this time with DJ. I would not have the time that I've had to spend with him over the last 6 or 7 months. And I think me and him have created this bond, and we have come together so well during this time. Granted, yes, we get on each other's nerves and everything, but my son looked at me today and he just goes, I just wanted to say I love you, Daddy. That to me, my heart melted, and
awesome.
You don't see that, especially with boys, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but you don't see that often. And if instead of wasting your time with the news or whatever else, when you're in lockdown or when you're in quarantine or whatever the hell's going on, spend it with the people that are closer to you and form a meaningful relationship and find purpose in that relationship so that when COVID is over, they can look back at this time. And I know DJ, I hope he looks back and says, oh, COVID-19, yeah, I remember that. We moved to Wafra. My dad was with me every day. And, it sucked. I didn't have a lot of friends to play with, but I had my dad. I had my mom all the time. And, and it wasn't a really bad experience. It was a shitty point in time, but some of the experiences were really good. And that overshadows, the mental crap that will go along later on.
It's like COVID-19 has also helped me a lot with getting closer to my daughter, I think, my kids. So
yeah,
I think we lost you a little bit. Hello? Are you playing with us again?
There you go. I know. I'm like, is it real or is it fake? Yeah, you're back now.
Real
just so all the listeners know, because I messed with them before the show, I just paused my head, and now I'm just kind of shaking my head side to side.
Is this fake news?
Dr. D, before we wrap up and before the internet goes to crap again, me and Meg, usually every year we do our predictions for the fitness industry in 2021. So this year, I think we can expand it to the psychology of humans also and throw it in that and, kind of expand on our predictions. We'll make it real short and quick. So, Meg, do you want to start with it so we could show Dr. D like how this goes?
Yeah.
Fitness predictions. Yeah, I don't know if it's really a prediction. I just think like the online space and the virtual space, like I just think we're going to continue to see a lot of growth there. That's, especially like in terms of fitness, it breaks my heart to see so many gyms shutting down. And I think that there's always going to be an importance for that in-person, contact and connection and for people to have that option. But I do think that we're going to probably see a lot of really cool creative innovations come out of the virtual space for fitness. There's a lot of people that just, that they don't want to go to a gym. and maybe this is and people are sitting at home, right? And kind of, depressed and sad what's going on and can't go out and do things. And maybe there's going to be something really cool that comes out that helps bring in a whole new people to become conscious of their health in that virtual space. So I don't know if that's really a prediction. I just know that I'm excited to see what happens in the virtual space. I think there's tons of room for everybody to play in there, but I don't know what's going to come out. I think we're going to see a lot of people shifting that way.
All right, Dr. D, you got the feel for it. What about psychology?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I do predict that more and more people will use online therapy for sure. And I think more and more people are going to be very, very unsettled, uncomfortable with being face-to-face. I think a lot of these offices will also shut down. I think a lot more apps, online help apps, more virtual sessions. I know a lot of my friends in the US already, like they've closed their offices and they've moved everything online. I do everything online. I'm also part of an app and it has really helped people. I know some people are missing that.
You're part of Saheti, right?
Saheti, that's right.
Yeah, people can find you on the Saheti app.
And, and we're very busy. I think more people, because they're cautious. Unfortunately, I think it's going to rob people from the opportunity of being face-to-face. But I don't think 2021 is going to make them feel more comfortable in coming into clinic. But I do feel very, very hopeful that people now are okay with utilizing mental health services.
Yeah.
And going online, it has helped a lot of people keep their confidentiality because they don't have to come to the office. They don't have to be seen by other people, especially in our part of the world where someone runs into you. And we have to have these private offices because we have extra offices for people who they're VIP or they think that they don't want anyone to see them when we put them there. So now no one has to do that. You could be in your own place, in your car. I have people like in different corners of their house talking to me and no one knows that they're talking to me. So I think utilization of mental health services will increase because they'll need it. They will use a lot more online to keep their confidentiality. And in this part of the world, I think people are going to be happy using services. And anxiety, depression will increase, definitely. And I don't think we're going to get out of it this year. There are going to be more people who are depressed.
There's a mountain to climb. There's definitely a mountain to climb on that.
So that's my prediction. Did I do a good job? It's the first time I predicted.
Yeah, you did a good job.
That's
Maddie, what's yours?
Well, to be honest with you, I think we're going to see a bunch of assholes pop out of the woodwork. Oh, shit, that already happened this year. But no, in reality, I honestly think I'm going to go the opposite of you guys a little bit because I think once this vaccine rolls out and things cool down a little bit, I think we're going to feel a need for that human interaction. I'm going to go back to Maslow because he had the hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
And right, Dr. D? And he had human interaction was part of that hierarchy, right?
Yeah, but it could be virtual now. We got used to it. We've been doing it for a year.
I don't want virtual. And I think people need that one-on-one. They need that touch. They need...
I know. I think people need that.
And Meg, you're going to laugh at this one, but I think boot camps are going to come back into play. Yeah. I think group classes are going to become a big thing later in the year in 2021 because people are going to want that interaction back. They're going to be starving for it by the time things are okay to go back to normal. I think the sports industry is going to completely change. I think athletes are going to get paid less, to be honest with you. I think there's going to be a dip in how much athletes are getting paid because, pro football and baseball players, they get paid a lot of money.
Tanked this year.
Yeah, they tanked. Yeah. So I think with COVID-19, teams are going to be like, look, we got to cut back payroll. So we can't offer you a $100 million contract. That's just not going to happen, because everyone's lost money, especially in these industries where they had food service providers and so forth. So I think Sports is going to change a little bit. We'll still have the same athletes, but playing for much less and probably with a little bit more heart. Yes, LeBron, I'm talking to you. And in terms of group fitness, I think that's going to blow up like in 2009, just because that change in the tide, everyone's going to want it back. And people won't have the deep pockets for one-on-one personal training. Maybe in Kuwait, but not in the United States, that's for sure. And we saw that in 2009.
Right.
When people didn't have the money, you go to a group fitness class, it's $10, $20, versus paying $100 to a personal trainer. And then I think from a psychological perspective, Dr. D, you're going to have a lot of business next year.
Right. Yeah. And I think the thing is that for you guys, the thing in your field, yes, you do face, you need, I mean, for me, they're getting their human contact because they're back with their family. So after the vaccination, more and more people will hang out and do all the things they used to do. But I don't think that is going to change with mental health. I think there's still going to be small percentage that want to see you face to face, but I think the bigger percent, they're going to want to do this online service with you and want to go virtual.
You don't think it's impersonal though? You don't think it's impersonal? Like if I'm crying, I want someone sitting there in front of me so I could see their emotion and feed off that a little bit. I don't want to be crying to a phone. That's just my personal perspective.
No. I think you've never tried it. I think you should try it and then you can judge it, but you've never done an online therapy and you'll realize that really, especially with all these apps that we have and, people can do Zoom now and they can do WebEx. So,
how do you know I've never tried it though?
I don't know, but you never told me you haven't tried it.
I never tried. I try everything.
I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think it's for everybody. I think try it and see how it works, but yeah.
No. I don't think it's for everybody. I think in our field, more and more people might find it safer for their confidentiality. I'm not saying that it's replacing human contact. Definitely, it's hard to do family therapy with it. It's hard to do couple. And, it's meant for individual. I do also think that a lot more people will close their offices because it will save us and save corporations money on rent. If you could do a lot of virtual stuff, why pay for rent? I think this is going to be shifting now. People realizing they can save money. Why not? You could do all your businesses and everything. People will travel less for their business, do all their meeting virtual.
I like that. For all the listeners out there, you got your conspiracies for 2021. You got your tips for 2021 with having purpose. I think we all agree with Meg's line right there. Have purpose. Were you going to say something? Go ahead.
I got one more.
One more? You got one more? All right, let's do the tips for 2021. All right, because Meg's got one more, then I got one more.
Yeah, just real quick. Well, I just want to say a prediction that Maddie and I's conspiracy theories actually come true in 2021, and then we'll have to pick new ones to follow.
So wait, aliens? Aliens? Wait, is it aliens?
Maybe.
I think it's aliens.
I'm not ruling it out.
I don't know.
New World Order and aliens, I think 2021.
Dr. D's like, I can't be on a show with these assholes. Like, this is detrimental to my profession.
I'll quit there. We're just giving you the business. I'll quit there and I'll go for tips. My tips. Is that where we're at? Are we at that part of the segment? Oh, that's awesome.
I don't think you've ever had me tear up before. I'm literally tearing up in laughter. We're going to give you more business. I'm sorry.
Support, right? Teamwork. But no, I think with the whole resolutions things, we really don't know what's going to happen this year and things are out of control. And I'm not down with the resolutions for the new year. If it's like the cleanses, the detoxes, and that kind of stuff, I think like check in with yourself every morning, right? Eat at your dinner table, make it mindful, exercise and move whenever, however you can, and just aim for a little bit better instead of perfect. I think that's just what I want to leave it at.
Yeah. That's good.
And then do it again the next morning. Show up the next day.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And that will,
Dr. D?
That will help I think this is great. And I think you're right, Meg. And this will also help them with their mental health, not only with their fitness.
Yeah.
So if they can just keep routine, sleep well, make sure that you're a priority for yourself and have a purpose, like we said.
I mean, for the guys out there, especially the ones that listen to the show and, they're all about, getting buff and swole and stuff. Dude, take the necessary steps. Take small steps. Like Meg said, take the small steps. Show up every day. I like that. Show up every day, ready to go to the office. I don't, we talked about this last year. I don't have like resolutions. My resolution happens every day.
Right.
It's,
you
can't say, oh, I'm going to quit smoking on January 1st. You know what? You'll quit smoking for a month and then go right back to it. You have to want to do it.
Right.
I quit smoking on the 18th or the 4th of November, 3 years ago. And you know what? It wasn't a resolution. I woke up, I took a puff, I said, this is fucking gross, and I put the cigarette out. That was it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it anymore. And the year before that, I had been thinking about how this was going to affect my health, down the line. And I didn't want to live, having someone else wipe my backside. That's just what it came down to. So I think whatever steps you're going to take today will fall into tomorrow, but just have the right expectations. When you do have your resolution, and I put my fake air quotes, have the right expectations. Don't think if you go to the gym for 1 week, you're going to shred 20, 30 pounds. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't.
Right.
If you're going to set a goal, set small goals and work towards those so that when you do achieve a smaller goal,
habits.
Yeah, right. You create those habits. And instead of thinking of, I want to lose 2 pounds a week, think of, I want to lose a quarter pound a week and do it the right way and lose a lot of weight over a long period of time to get healthy in what your body can do, rather than what your body looks like. And it's just, that's my 2 cents on it.
No, I love that. You mentioned like your relationship with DJ or being a dad or, independence as you age, like that's the stuff that's going to motivate you. That's the stuff that's going to help you show up the next morning. You need to know why you're going after that.
Yeah. Find your purpose.
Find your purpose.
Love it.
Yep.
Dr. D, I hope we don't get you fired as a psychologist.
Why? No.
I don't know, because we said everything against the grain here. I mean, me and Meg, when we went to town on psychology.
No, but I mean, it's your opinion.
Meg, what do you want to tell me about my hips before we sign out?
Oh, yeah. You had a video of you doing a drill. It was your bar muscle ups, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
And so you had a video of you crushing 10 of those in a row, DJ counting for you and him getting to see your celebration. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
your over dramatic celebration,
Dude,
which was
it wasn't over dramatic. Come on. I achieved something that I didn't know.
It was like in all the good ways. Like, no, you're taking that in a bad way. It's like
right.
it was intense and it was awesome. Like you could feel it. Like
I think I am defensive because someone said, dude, you have to be dramatic about doing that. I was like, look, I was really happy. Like I was, when you think
proud.
you can,
hell yeah, celebrate that shit.
Like when you can only think you can do 6 or 7 and you do 10, that's a huge achievement. Like that's, you get all fuzzy inside. You know what I mean? Sorry. So then I showed my warm up.
Who cares if they think,
right.
Matthew, you don't have to worry about if someone thinks you're dramatic or not. You needed to celebrate, you celebrate. Who cares what they say?
That's what I told them. I said I was happy, dude. I don't give a shit. I could care less. That's why I posted it.
Why should you be sensitive?
I'm not. That's why I posted it, because I'm not sensitive about this stuff. But I use that as an example because later on I might get defensive about something. You know what I mean? And that psychological perspective pops into my head, Dr. D, where someone had mentioned something,
right,
and then it's mentioned again in a different way, but then I get overly defensive because I thought it was in an attacking way. Just to explain my...
that's why I'm saying you should not be overly defensive, and if you want to celebrate whichever way it is, even though it looks dramatic for other people, it doesn't matter. You wanted to celebrate, and you should be okay with it. That's a little psychology for you at the end. Feel good. Do good, feel good.
But now I'll ninja your brain so that you get self-conscious for the next time you post your hip video. No, I'm just kidding. You can't hear me? Oh shit. That was a dig. I wanted him to hear that.
Well, yeah, he has to hear it when he posts.
Well, are you on now?
Yeah, I'm on. I don't know what happened to my sound. It just kind of went.
I just gave you a big dig. You might have to catch that in the recording.
Oh, damn it. Oh, Emmanuel, you got to send that to me separately, buddy.
But no, your hips, all I was touching on was your warm up. The intention of that, right? The band underneath is to help with the hip pop, getting the hips close to the bar so you can get up and over it.
Yeah,
right?
But for me, I don't have that problem.
Damn it. I feel like we're never going to get through this because he keeps freezing up.
Yeah, I think we should just
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
All right.
Maddie.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Thank You, and join us next time.